Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Lee Ann.
I'm Allie.
Welcome to my home in Connecticut.
Come on in.
This summer, spend the hottest months of the year in style with Homeworthy as we visit the most extraordinary homes around the world. From the sun-soaked shores of the Hamptons to the classic beachfronts of Nantucket to the vibrant courtyards of Morocco, be sure to subscribe to Homeworthy's summer series to make every day feel like a vacation. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I'm Lee Ann Thornton. This is my daughter.
Hi, I'm Allie Resor, and we are the partners and principal designers behind Lee Ann Thornton Interiors.
Welcome to my home in Rowayton. We've been living in this house almost a year. We have loved the area for the last 22 years, always scoping out what could be available. And this beautiful seaside cottage became available about last August, and it's magical. It's a beautiful, magical place to live. When we first saw the house, it was in wonderful condition. The shiplap on the walls, the lighthouse out the living room window, I knew right then it was going to be our house. It's tiny but perfect in every way, and it's a very well built home. Decorating this house was incredibly easy. Everything that I added and have created matched the interiors perfectly. It's as if everything that I've been purchasing for the last 30, 40 years of my life knew it was going to end up in this house someday. My style, I believe you could call classic traditional, but I believe there's so much freedom to it, and there's so much lightness and beautiful use of fabrics, but not overly done. I think it's a very fresh approach and welcoming approach to design.
In my house in Charleston, at my mom's house here in Rowayton, we work together, so we're FaceTiming all day, constantly working, but we're also walking around our houses saying, maybe that goes there, maybe this moves here. Like, we are constantly back and forth, and it's really lucky because not many people can understand your style and aesthetic as much as we happen to. So it's been very fun kind of helping her with little things around the house.
You've had a lot of influence.
Yeah.
A lot of influence.
But I mean, my whole house is basically filled with furniture from our life. Mm-hmm. And what's so lucky is my mom has recovered and just redone pieces of furniture that are just such good quality that have lasted forever. So it's been fun getting this place together. It's a dream house.
It's a dream. Welcome to my living room. It's a very special spot in the house. It's the main entertaining area. It serves as the TV room, sometimes the dinner room. It's where we gather. And I knew when I first saw this house, this was the room. There's a view out this window that looks out to the lighthouse in the Long Island Sound. I looked out there and I thought, if I can be in this house and look at this gorgeous lighthouse, I knew right then this was for us. Mm-hmm. The funny thing is that our furniture really worked in a room that would look over a lighthouse.
It really did.
The red, white, and blue theme, and maybe I've leaned a little bit into the red more as I've lived here. I'm a blue and white girl. Always have been.
I think I've brought you more into the
I think you have. But bringing in the sofas that we've had for years, the white slipcovers with the monogram, and these are all very California-inspired pieces of furniture, and the beautiful legs, and adding all the textiles, all of the, wrapping them in the Indian blankets and embroidery on all the pillows. All of this just feels incredibly well-suited to this environment. Bringing in old prints that are now discontinued because all the good ones are. This is an old hollyhock print from Lee Joffa that's done in beautiful colors now, but no one no one can get their hands on the red and teal, and I think it's so special.
You have a couple fabrics like that.
I do. I have the old hero fabrics.
Yes.
And really just like creating this type of seating area. Not everyone likes to have sofas or thinks to have sofas done like this. Sometimes they face them, but I really love bringing people as close together as I possibly can. And I am that number counter. I'm thinking, okay, 7-foot sofa, 3 people, boom, boom, 2 on the ottoman when you're having cocktails. So, you can pull that up for extra. I'm always thinking about floater pieces as well. So this room brings absolute joy and glee to me. It is all of the things I want to see on an everyday basis. And my beautiful collection of books, all of our collection of blue and white that has just been from Nantucket to just everywhere. We've been collecting these things.
I think what I also love about this room in particular is that, like you said, this is the room sometimes we eat in. This is where we do Christmas. This is where we hang out and watch movies.
Light a fire.
I like, and now I'm this way too, we're not afraid to have white sofas. And we're all over them, and dogs and babies, and I think that wrapping them in these textiles, it's such a fun way to show an easy way of living.
Nothing's too precious. And yes, beautiful fabrics and good pieces of furniture. I've had these chairs for, I want to say 30 years. I think I've had these sofas for 25. This ottoman probably for 30 years. Everything's gotten recovered in time. And, it's what I tell my clients. Buy well the first time and just live with it and let it evolve with you. And whether it's the fabric you're recovering in or, changing it to a different room. But I like the placement and the symmetry of things. I love lampshades. Some may say I have a problem.
You have a lighting problem.
I love lighting. I love low lighting, mid lighting, sconces, lamps. I love just having the light envelop you. And every night or every morning I come down, depending on the weather in the morning, and I just get everything lit. At night, I light all the candles in this room. Everything, as you can see, my books are a very big part of my decor, and those I've just been collecting just forever. And they're all on homes, and some of these date back to, the 70s, but they're a big part of why I do what I do and the energy of my home.
If you had to pick,
Oh boy.
what is your favorite piece in the living room?
It
It can't be the bench because that's mine.
Oh boy. Well, that's pretty good. I would say, this is one of the best collected rooms for me because it has all of my favorite things. The 3-tiered etagere that I'm able to style and put my books on. But these sofas, I think my monogram sofas are probably my favorite thing.
We've had those for so long.
Yeah, they mean a lot to me.
And your strawberry print.
And my strawberry print.
Where did you get that?
That is from an antique store in Los Angeles off of La Brea, and it has always had a special place in every home we've ever lived in. Yeah.
I feel like I have such a memory of that just being ever since I was little.
And if you look at this room, it's a lot of different prints, and the ability to welcome mini checks, big checks, flowers, little ginghams, Indian textiles. I feel like chintz on the lampshades. I feel like if you can get that level and balance right in the patterns, they really tell the story of the room. So that's where this room is. It's lovely during the day. It's beautiful at night. And it's pretty in the summer. And it
Really
welcomes
cozy to
Christmas like no other place. So this is one of my favorite rooms. The bar.
I want to call it our Christmas bar. We do use it all year round.
And I decorate it, and I put little white twinkling lights in there. And there's just something about having this spot in the house for holidays, but it's also dressing up the bar. And it's not just about the alcohol and the glasses. It's about your favorite little trinkets, your collections, you know, beautiful hotel silver that we've been collecting for years, and
The lamp.
the fun lamp. I love a bar lamp. All of my William Yoward crystal that has been probably one of my first collections I started on. And, you know, just storing the books in there and the little ribbons around all the little Yoward pieces, and Darling from this little French company for bottles, these cute little aprons. It all just means a lot to me. And Allie's husband, when we have a holiday, will come over.
He's the bartender.
He's the bartender. So in the winter, we are martinis. We
Whiskey
are
sours.
whiskey sours.
That's our Christmas drink of choice
That
this year.
has become that. And then in the summer, it's margaritas and chilled rosé. And it's just a nice little spot to have everything here. So when you're having people over, you're not back and forth into the kitchen. I find that so not fun to have to like disappear and go find it. You have it all here, and all your company's right there. So right off of the living room is the dining area, and the kitchen's right next door. And in here, this area is the entry. And I feel like it's just that walk in, you get what the house is the second you walk in the door. And creating personalized items of hats and darling little lamps and plants and my favorite beach bag is just exactly what I want to see when I walk into somebody's house. Nothing too perfect, and just a slice of what really happens here. The best compliment that I've ever received about my home and my interiors would be a long time ago when my husband came to the home I was living in, and he said to me, "This is the way I want to live. This is the way people should live." And I thought, wow, that's exactly what I want people to feel like. Welcoming, invited, stay a while. They know great food's gonna be here, music will be going, and I think to have people associate me with that feeling that they want to have is just a big compliment.
Definitely. For me, and I know this sounds so like, oh, she's sitting right next to me, so I have to say this, but for me, whenever my girlfriends have come and visited in Charleston and they've been staying at my house and they have been there and said, "This feels like your mom's house."
Oh,
That is the best compliment, because I know that means it feels warm, it's inviting, it's well curated, it smells good, it has good food and coffee, cooking, and all of that.
I love it.
As you can imagine, growing up with Lee Ann as my mom, I have been able to learn so much about design, keeping a home, entertaining, taking care of your family. The list really could go on and on. But I think one of the most important things that my mom has taught me is to collect what you love and to buy what you love and to be discerning with that. Like, there's no one that I would rather go to an antique fair with than her, because she's discerning. She's not sold by something just because it's cute. She really wants it to have a purpose, and that's kind of how I've learned to live with everything in my house too, and to not treat anything too precious. I think the things we buy are beautiful and they're meant to be lived with and used, and that's a really great thing that we've all kind of picked up on from you.
It's like walking through a flea market, and I'm like, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah, and she's good. And then we always end up leaving. My older sister and I always end up leaving with maybe one thing after we've eyed 20, and they always end up being the best pieces.
Welcome into the dining room. This is another favorite room, and tonight we are prepping for a little entertaining, which is happening a lot in this house lately. Table settings. They're just my everything, and the collections that we have been using This is an old style dish that we've had forever. They still sell them. It's from the Ivy in Los Angeles. And
We all have them now.
all my girls have them. And it's kind of like a staple when you live in LA. But mixing them with all of our other, you know, dishes and the collections that I have, I started collecting china for all of the girls on their first birthday. So they'd have their own set of china when they moved into their own place. Today, we set our table with the Ivy, and then of course with our favorite linens from Heather Taylor Home. And I love like the sweet approach with the bows and the lace, and then layering the placemats, and we could go on and on and on about the tables. This is a gorgeous piece that I got at Trade Secrets this year, which is up in Lime Rock, and I saw that and grabbed it. And everything else in this area are things that I've just truly, I say the word collected, but that is what I've been doing, is putting together collections that I could use all the time, and incorporating, you know, plants and favorite baskets. And I kind of love the whole idea about, you know, exposed shelves, the open shelves. And I know that's sort of a trend, but when I think of the way I do it, I don't think of it as trendy.
No.
I think of it as just being able to use and have access to all of your beautiful things. And this
What was this piece?
I bought this on First Dibs 15 years ago.
Oh.
And it was used in a show house in LA, and I bought it immediately. I loved it. And then since then, I've just been able to, it kind of cycles through. Different china we're using. The holidays, I fill it with little lights and red gingham hearts and tons of fun access. It's sort of like my little, it's where I can like show off our stuff and put in the big lamps on here and the fun shades. It just creates all of the layers. I mean, if you could just have something in your home, like this right here says so much. But this room really is pretty great with all of the windows and the cafe curtains, which I just absolutely adore in any room, but especially in here. There was a photograph I saw once about windowsills filled with flowers, and it just always had me, I was so enamored with it. And then when we moved into this house, I had all these windowsills that I could use the topiaries, the potted white geraniums, and those fun antique pots. And I just think that level of the sun coming in, the cafes, the wrought iron, and the geraniums is just very, very English. And I love that.
I think it also goes back to kind of what we've always said, is you romanticize the everyday. And
Yeah.
I think that doing this just on a random Wednesday, having the house look like this, is what you do anyways.
Yeah, I have to say this is a nice energy in this house, that plants belong with everything. Flowers, it's the indoor-outdoor life that we talk about. There are a lot of plates in my collection. I have to say, I think these are some of my favorite. These are burley, and they are called Asiatic pheasant. And there's something just so beautiful about the design. And I've collected, I think, probably 50 dinner and 50 salad plates over the years. And it's all about how many people can you serve if you're just gonna have a buffet. And then all of this furniture has been repurposed and repurposed. These are old Rose Tarlow dining chairs that I've had for easy over 30 years. And they've been slip covered in an old Travers linen, which I like how worn it is. It's got like an old Ralph Lauren vibe. And one of my favorite things to do for myself and for clients are a host and hostess chair. And these smaller scale wingback chairs just feel so comfortable. You could sit here all day. You could make this your workspace if you want. And that I love that idea too. And then popping in a big old Ralph Lauren wing chair that really doesn't have any spot in here, but it's really fun to cuddle up with like a cookbook, or when I'm cooking, I'll have a glass of wine and sit over there. It's just, it adds a layer of comfort to the room. And this is an old farm table that we bought in Massachusetts when we first moved to Connecticut. So there's a lot of history in this room. This is a store that used to be in Los Angeles called Brenda Anton. And this is one of the first pieces my husband and I bought together 30 years ago. And it has traveled from one coast to the other and has had many different lampshades. But it's just so charming and happy, and it's patinaed so nicely, and one of my favorites. This dresser is so great. We've had it restained because it's had a lot of use, but this houses all of the linens. So collections aplenty that I've just been working on, and they just mean a lot to me. I love bringing them out. They all have different memories. There's holidays and kids' birthdays, and I remember them all, and I use them all. I use everything. We're in the kitchen, obviously, heart of the home, and
What cake did you make? Because I came downstairs at 7 a.m. and I was in like a wonderland of scent.
okay, this is the banana cake.
Yum.
So I make the banana cake and then I frost it with cream cheese frosting. Sometimes I'll add coconut, but during the summer months when we have these gorgeous flowers, I love to decorate my cakes. And I think I learned this little trick from the Ivy in Los Angeles. They serve these beautiful cakes just covered in tea roses, all different colors. So when we're entertaining, like we're going to tonight, I'll just bring in some hydrangeas, beautiful little garden roses in the pink, and then just these green leaves. And honestly, I just start decorating, and I'll fill it, and I'll go around the top, I'll go around the base, and it's just really pretty on a platter. It looks so great.
It's funny because I see, obviously, I'm more on the internet than you are, and I see so many people my age starting to do this and starting their journey entertaining, and I kind of see it, and I'm like,
Yeah, been there.
I've had that in my house forever.
Been there, done that.
You really are more of a trendsetter than you think.
Oh, the young people.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I feel like all of our birthday cakes and everything were always decorated like this.
Well, this kitchen is tiny but mighty, and I keep everything around here that I need. Obviously, my strong-armed cookbook collection is right there. But really, it's like such an enjoyable kitchen to be in. And with the breakfast nook right there, the dining room, just all the fresh light, it's a joy.
How long do you like these?
Well, you know what? It's funny. Sometimes I will just get in a little shorter.
And just kind of place it on top?
Yeah, but like, look at how sweet. It's just really,
And
then we'll just fill the whole thing.
I'll make some of these shorter too.
And I love how it just all kind of repeats everything else that's happening in our house. You know, it repeats the china. It just all kind of just blends so seamlessly. I love that. Maybe another rose right there. I think the love of entertaining started for me when I was a young girl. I remember my siblings' birthdays, my parents' birthdays, bake sales at school, and I'd want to bring in cakes in 3rd grade. There's a comfort about taking care of people. There's also the idea of using all of the beautiful things that you have, and it's like interior design in a way. I put as much thought into every piece that's on the counter and everything that we're eating and planning a menu as I do into designing a living room.
Yeah.
So it's in my DNA. Entertaining is in my DNA, and I've got ideas for these later, and if I can keep all of my limes that I'll squeeze for margaritas and fresh homemade lime tortilla chips, and just keeping all of the things that create our life around me just feel very special. Entertaining is such an important part of my life. I help encourage clients, obviously my daughters. When I'm decorating a house, when I'm designing my own home, that is on the forefront. It is very important. And it's not just limited to a dining room. I'm envisioning how the living room is going to work. Sometimes I'll be walking past the living room and count how many seats are in it and think, oh, that's good for a buffet. I can get 12 people in there. And we have a beautiful wraparound deck here, so I can get 3 different eating areas. And I keep so many linens in the house. There's a constant changeover of napkins and linens and bringing out different sets of china for different occasions. I have given all of my daughters books on entertaining to write lists and recipes of their own, to create music lists. It's all so important to me. It goes hand in hand with living in my home. It's like one of the first things I think about. And I think with the girls, Allie has 2 sisters,
It's been a masterclass.
Yeah.
It has truly been a masterclass, whether we signed up for it or not. It has been, I mean, we couldn't have grown up in this house without really absorbing so much of what my mom does, even for just our family on a weeknight. It doesn't have to be a big dinner party happening. It doesn't have to be guests coming over. It could just be the 5 of us having dinner, and there's always fresh flowers cut. There's always the gorgeous linens and keeping the music going, a great playlist. It's just...
And tradition of recipes.
Yeah,
we like to keep traditions going.
I think that you do a great job of making every day romantic and celebratory. And
Thank
that's
you.
a big thing of what my sisters and I try to emulate in our houses.
Well, you're doing it. Welcome to my primary bedroom. This room is like living in a treehouse. It is everything that I wanted in design, from all the crochet, the quilts, the cable knit, the creamy white drapes. Everything feels very seaside cottage here, and that was the intention. We found this cute little antique stool, a little place in Fairfield. And I love the idea of just bringing in wildflowers and keeping it super not fussy, but just very bright and fresh. And I do love having this room so bright, but so warm and layered at the same time. So everything that this room has is exactly what I had envisioned for it. And the wallpaper from Lee O'Connell, to me, just says seaside cottage. The creamy white linen draperies with the sheared valance. It's casual but tailored at the same time. The Porto lights, the quilts, all of these layers, the cotton striped rugs, the porthole mirror. It just, it's so comforting and so fresh. And this is a room you want to come in the afternoon and get cozy with a book in a snowstorm, all of it. And it's very fresh and feels like summer at the beach, and adding all these beautiful linens with all the embroidery detail, and it all feels very, very comforting. This is an old light fixture from probably 2 houses ago that we added Porto linens onto to make this shaded pendant, and we have one over on the small lamp as well. They match linens of the same. Porto is one of my favorite bed linen companies, and I love mixing that with Matu. All of the Lisa Fine shades. She's one of my favorite fabric designers. But I think for me, the wallpaper in here is just... It's just my favorite. And honestly, this is another room where scale works with many patterns if you really blend it. Whereas this Rose Tarlo fabric, which is incredible, called Bloomsbury, it just works with the Lisa Fine, and it works with the Lee O'Connell and the Porto with the quilting, because it's just the scale of everything is blending. And I believe because the room is so white, it's letting those little moments just do their thing. I think a favorite room that we share together, probably 2 rooms. The guest room that we both have put a lot of effort into because that's where you stay, but it also is just a little jewel box of a room. And I have a design studio up on the 3rd floor, and that we've really collected and cultivated and made it into a very user-friendly but super pretty spot.
We've always had great offices around Greenwich, and we've always made them gorgeous because everything you touch just happens to be. But our studio upstairs, it really speaks to the soul of our company, I think.
That's a great way to put it.
It's warm, it's inviting, it's welcoming, and it's like the most aspirational place to work. She's very lucky to get to be there every day.
This is the guest room. This is the happy, comfortable, I call it the little Nantucket 4th of July room. And
I call it my room.
of course you do. Of course you do.
What's lucky for me is when I go on a work trip, because I live down in Charleston, when I go on a work trip, I get to come up and stay with my parents. And I get to stay in what is the guest room. Sometimes it's my nephew's bedroom, but I think I stay here the most. So I'm gonna call it my room for the purpose of this tour. And I mean, it has the Porto pillows, it has the Pottery Barn, the Porto quilt, the Land's End quilt. It's perfect.
It's layered.
I really never want to leave this room. I love where I live and I love my husband, but it's hard to leave this room sometimes.
I love the accents in here, and I do really love the textures of the Porto, and I love bringing in like the yummy quilts and all of the crocheted linens. They just have such a like heirloom, you know, peaceful vibe to them. And we started collecting samplers. These were made hundreds of years ago. Nantucket sells many of these in their antique shops. It's probably my favorite. But what I love is putting these old bows from Count and Tout from London, or Colfax and Fowler, sorry, behind them all. I think it just creates such a warm, happy, but yet like classic old traditional look. And then bringing in more modern lighting. So I really love that combination. And one thing, if I were asked what is my favorite thing in this room, there's many. These baskets, which have been reproduced many a times, all wonderful reproductions. These are the original baskets from a very special store in New York that is not there anymore called Triage. It was up on East 75th Street for years, and that's Bunny Williams' original store. A treasure trove of indoor furniture, garden furniture, probably some of my favorite antiques that I own in the house. These are original French baskets with the scallop liner, and I have about 4 of them that I've scattered around the house. I love them. I love them for packing away my grandson's, toys or clothing when he's here, and just knowing that these are so close to my heart and that I've collected those, and then adding in my samplers. This one especially with the windmill and the cute house, and
That's my favorite.
And the flowers. It just looks like Nantucket, doesn't it? I know. It's very, very, very special. I grew up obsessed with the environment around me. It was taking notice everywhere. At school, people's homes, ballet class, anything. I was taking in the aesthetic that I was surrounded by. And I knew it made me feel a certain way. And when I was on my own, just buying decorations for my tree felt very important. I knew collections would be very, very important for me. And that's obviously been going on for a while. I'm still collecting. I have been drawn to, I think in the 80s, I was really drawn to Sister Parish, House and Garden, Old House Beautiful, 1981, I remember, like amazing issues. And I've just always thought my home and what I've surrounded myself and my family with was extremely important. And it was never something that was too precious. It was something that felt wonderful and just made you feel very happy. So probably I could say, yeah, I think I've always been curious about this world, and it became very apparent at a certain time of my life that I just needed to do it. And friends started asking me to do it. And that's really how my business formed. I moved to Greenwich 22 years ago from Los Angeles, where I was building my own houses there, decorating my own houses, and it just felt effortless. And then when I got to Connecticut, friends wanted some of that, and they'd ask me to help them, and boom, the business grew.
Mm-hmm. It was very cool because I was 10, I think, 10 or 11, when her office was in our house. And I would come home from school and see her and her bookkeeper in the office and just kind of walk by. And I always appreciated how beautiful our house was. I think my sisters and I always have. We're all very creative people in different fields. But seeing your work at home was such a cool thing to grow up with. And then with our office in downtown Greenwich for a long time, my little sister and I would go there after school. We'd tag along to site visits. It became very integral to our lives. And I would start interning, did a couple interns in...
At 16, right?
Did a couple internships for you guys, which was very fun because even though I was the boss's daughter at one point, I kind of just got to do all the grunt work, which is really important when you start in this business. And in college, I was sort of like, not so sure. I graduated, I got a job in marketing, I think. And that was July, and by September of that year, I finally came to my mom and I was like, why are we putting off the inevitable? Let's just start working together already. So now that has been almost 10 years.
It's incredible.
And it's been really great kind of working from the bottom of, being a project manager, working as a designer, and now us running the firm together has come so naturally. But it's been a great learning experience.
It's the best.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
I think what's been so great about Allie and I working together is that Allie brings not strictly like this bohemian vibe, but definitely something that is a little bit more flirty in a way that like really enhances what I'm already doing, what I was already doing. So the combination of that look, I think that's where we've hit our stride.
Definitely. It's really because obviously I've grown up and been surrounded by all of this beauty and my mom's style, and mine has slightly evolved from what yours is, but the basics are always there. And I think that when we really started to design together on projects is when our creativity really took off.
Which was during COVID.
Yes.
And we were like...
stuck in an office alone, the two of us every day. We were crazy people, but it really created one of our most favorite projects. And it elevates every single project that we work on now together.
Welcome to the design studio. I feel incredibly lucky that I have this in my house. It was this perfect third floor space that I didn't know what I was going to do with it. And I was thinking about transitioning offices. I really wanted to spend more time at home with our new puppy, Graham, who can't ever leave us alone and is always up here. It was a perfect space to just bring all of my fabrics, my fabric library. This beautiful window felt so, I don't know, just inspiring, and adding more of our books and our beautiful pottery, and able to just really access everything that we use right here, but create it in a home
up here.
environment. Felt so good to me. I'm up here early in the morning. I'm here late in the afternoon. It's such a good motivation to work when you're in a beautiful spot. And I think looking out, doesn't hurt that I'm looking out to this beautiful lighthouse, and we're on an island, so this whole room is just surrounded by water, and keeping all of our little things handy, keeping it tidy is interesting. These mood boards that we have up here inspire us, and these pictures are everything that we are thinking about. This is very summer inspired, but our brain is thinking this way all the time. Ina in the garden, fresh cut roses, beautiful china, wicker baskets. Some of our work is in here, inspirational images, Ralph Lauren, of course. And these boards are done by Abby Ward, and she's just a creative genius. So I feel very lucky that she has made these for our office. We have another one on the other side that I can show you. And keeping all the fabrics that, you know, like I said downstairs, hero fabrics, things that just make us really happy and that we go back to. Keeping all things organized in our clients' baskets. We always present with a basket. Once we've gotten the design direction, we go to the client's house or they come here and everyone is assigned a basket. And we start layering room by room. And so that's in the car when we're rushing over to meet them for a site visit, or it's sitting here when we're working, talking with vendors. Their basket's always accessible. I think the basket makes it seem kind of cozy. In the old days, it was like the big bag from the D&D, but we do baskets. Having all these work surfaces, very helpful. I like to keep this as clean as possible because I'll lay fabrics out. We'll have architects' plans here on the table. I'll meet with the architects here. We meet with builders. We have our clients that come in. We made this tablecloth from some namasame fabric and just some beautiful cotton trim that the doggy loves to get into, but keeping all of our things stationary, certain fabrics that we're working on, tile samples, all of these beautiful little things are just little touches that we love. This particular area is great for when clients come. We can sit down with a cup of tea, or if it's later in the afternoon, or we're talking about budgets, maybe a glass of wine. But this is just where we can flip through their lookbook. We can bring the fabrics over, sit down and, you know, lay it all out for approvals. And it's also just a nice place when you're working to be able to sit down, like after an hour or so of trying to focus and design and just taking some time to mellow out, open up the doors, feel the ocean breeze.
So magical.
Just magical. So this room was a bonus and makes working at home feel like the biggest treat, honestly, ever.
And we've had these chairs, these two floral chairs, for a long time now. I think, when was the first time we used them? When we did Legends of La Cienega?
When we did the window for Gracie at Legends of La Cienega. And I had started a furniture line in 2016, which did not last long. It was a lot of work.
Still get questions about it though.
Yes, we do. And these
maybe one day we'll bring it back.
These chairs with the scalloped edge. We actually still make these for clients.
We make these for clients a
they
lot.
love them. And just having like all of the beautiful green velvet, but this is actually a sleeper sofa. So when I have extra, my other children are home, they can stay up here and collecting different lampshades. And again, it's really just about mixing all of these patterns and mitering the stripes on here. Finding these lampshades on Instagram, which is just so funny when they pop up and you purchase. More Lisa Fine, beautiful chintz. I think it's one of the prettiest florals around. And it picks up so many other elements. Dark navy, more aqua, teal. And this whole environment surrounded by the beadboard, I think just feels really great. It's a room that really feels like the decor that we do in the homes that we work on in New England. We are now in the garden. We love gardening. My husband's an incredible gardener, and keeping these hydrangeas by the front door is really special for us. We have collected these old planters. Mrs. McDougall, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, from London, they brought pieces over and they sold them just at random places. And I was able to find these planters, which I adore. So we keep these close to the house, and beautiful blue hydrangeas in them. This is something that my husband loves. He loves roses, so he gave me a rose tree for Mother's Day this year, a rose tree for Mother's Day last year, And they are French roses and they smell beautiful. Unfortunately, we just got past the last bloom. And then we love to keep delphiniums in the garden. I thought these were kind of fun in these plastic lined baskets. They're just great and add so much charm. My bike that I love. And some more greenery, rose trees. We love boxwood. Love, love, love boxwood. And of course, I think probably one of my favorite signs of summer is a geranium. I love the white geraniums. I have red geraniums in the living room. And that's just a fun way, a little seating area to have the deck just feel so good and inviting. This way we can sit outside and we can look out to the water, have a glass of wine at night. And then we come into the garden, which again is small, but we focused on walls of hydrangeas. So we kept it kind of clean. And climbing roses, that's a new dawn, and it's one of our favorites, along with iceberg roses. Those are shrub roses. This thing came back to life and has grown into just this amazing shrub. This is a boxwood as well. And then we have just more of the hydrangeas. Pink, blue. We have a bird bath that we got at Trade Secrets a couple years ago. It's very special and really pretty. And these are called Annabelle. This is a very special hydrangea, and they get about 6 feet tall. So they're gonna cover all of this probably by the end of summer, and they'll be big white floppy blossoms. They're wonderful. And this down here is an apple espalier. Very, very important plant to us. Right now you can see the apples. They're darling little apples. By the fall, this will be filled. And then in the spring, it's just beautiful pink blossoms. Apple blossoms are beautiful. So that tree is very important to us. And everything is planted in these really wonderful English containers that my husband collects. And then we have more of the climbing roses. We have a beautiful French rose down at the end that I will probably continue to cut. This home equals my design aesthetic, is a way to put it, because coming from Los Angeles, things are fresh, things have the opportunity to get dressed up. There's not crazy architecture in homes there. There are, lots of shiplap beadboard, French doors, gardens, indoor, outdoor lifestyles, and my aesthetic has always been an indoor, outdoor lifestyle. The gardens are a huge part of how I decorate a home. This house was such a perfect fresh palette that the indoor, outdoor lifestyle, there's so many windows, it just all blends. So I think my design aesthetic growing up in Los Angeles with all of that fresh take on everything fits it really well.
Definitely, and I think all of the slip-covered furniture in the house, these sofas behind us, everywhere, there's just gorgeous, like very light fabrics.
Baskets everywhere you look, and flowers, yeah. The word home means comfort. The word home means happiness and safety and all the things that you see in a movie that you leave there and you're thinking, oh, I just want to feel that way. I want that experience. And when I think of home, I want my home to give me those feelings on all those levels. Romantic, calm, peaceful, beautiful. And I think home is, for me, feels like a welcoming, open arms.
I think family too. Family is probably where my brain goes first. Comfortability and happiness, definitely.
Happiness.
Homeworthy, we loved having you here today.
But it's time to go. No, we really have had the greatest day, but we have dinner guests coming. And thank you again for coming to our home in Connecticut.
See you soon.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.